We know that Donald Trump is going to be placing some brand new material inside of the White House. He's going to be putting up a bunch of portraits right here in this colonnade in the White House. But President Trump has announced what he is going to do on his new wall of presidents, on his new wall, his new colonnade of presidents right here. It's going to be very, very interesting. He says that he's going to replace a photograph of Joe Biden with a photograph of an Autopen portrait inside the White House Wall of Fame gallery. This is from the interview that President Trump did with the Daily Caller. How about that for American realism? President Trump hinted that he will troll ex-President Joe Biden with an Autopen portrait inside of the White House gallery he's calling the Presidential Wall of Fame, according to a report. The two-time commander-in-chief shared his plan to mock his predecessor with a portrait featuring a notorious Autopen in a newly conceived presidential wall of fame that is being constructed right now inside of the Rose Garden. It's a decision that I have to make. We'll put up a picture of an Autopen, Trump told the Daily Caller in an exclusive interview published on Monday. He then shared the publication, a mock-up of what the Biden he showed the publication a mock-up of what the Biden Autopen would look like inside of the special gallery. I got to do it, Trump said. Same picture, but black and white. Yeah. And I'm not going to use the one with the smile. The outlet did not publish the photo of the mock-up, share details of the appearance, but Trump himself predicted that it would cause quite a stir. Okay, let's read the direct. So it looks something like this. Here's the Autopen machine. Let's read the direct quotations here, shall we? So this is from the interview. It's just a written interview, President Trump and the Daily Caller. See what they're doing outside of the Rose Garden? Putting up beautiful mirrors. Did you see the mirrors out there? Did you? No, I haven't, says the reporter. What we're doing is called the Presidential Wall of Fame. Let me just give you some context here. Yes, let me give some Thank you. Here's some context. You can see here, if you zoom in on the photo, you can see that those are two portraits. It looks like George Washington, potentially a George Washington and a Thomas Jefferson portrait that are being placed and hung there. And then you have Judge Jeanine standing there with President Trump. And then you have Donald Trump there observing what's going on. And then you can see here Judge Jeanine and Donald Trump together on what will be the presidential wall of portraits. So there's going to be potentially 47 different portraits of 47 different presidents. Okay, so let's go back to the interview. Thank you. Oh, yes, I did see this. Trump, come on. Want to go watch? Yeah, let's go see. Trump and Reese walk out of the Oval Office into the Rose Garden for several minutes while Hotel California plays in the White House speakers. Reese, you're going to put one up of President Biden too? Trump, okay, show it. Trump, isn't it an interesting question? I'm curious. Trump, and I'll listen to you too, because it's a decision I have to make. We put up a picture of an Autopen. Oh, that's hilarious, says the reporter. Yes, we will put up a picture of Joe Biden as the Autopen, says President Trump. Maybe President Trump, in the press conference that we're about to listen to from the president inside the Oval Office, will show us this photo because he shows the reporter the photo. Trump shows Reese, this is the reporter, what the Biden Autopen portrait will look like in the Rose Garden. Probably will be a photo of Joe Biden plus the Autopen. Trump, what do you think? Reese, I think you've got to do it. Trump, I got to do it. It's actually good. Because Reese, I'm going to put this up in the transcript. People are not going to be happy that I gave you advice on this. But I think it's very Trump. Trump, she could have said that, right? It's going up in about 2 weeks because it's all being prepared. Okay. So now I've read you the direct transcript there. President Trump is going to be putting and here's, I think, a photo of potentially President Trump, yes, and then the reporter. You have Stephen Chung there, and then you have Caroline Leavitt, who is sitting with her. You have President Trump taking those questions. Goodness, look at the stack on the president's desk. Would you look at that? Goodness gracious. Look at that pile of work. One of them is the Biden Autopen, apparently. So this is what the president is going to do. This is now making big national headlines that Donald Trump is going to put up a portrait. There's going to be all the portraits of all the presidents, and then it's going to be a photo of the Autopen. What did the former president direct versus what he did not? One Trump administration official question. The only time a legitimate use of the Autopen would have happened is if the president said he wanted something done or he wanted something, asked for his approval. In an interview with the Daily Caller, Trump further commented on Joe Biden's presidency and his dire prostate cancer diagnosis, which was revealed in May. He didn't win the race. He lost badly. He's a horrible president. But can you imagine? He says he has stage 9 cancer. What was that? 2 or 3 months ago. Stage 9. I've never heard of that more than stage 4. Stage 4 is the highest ever. Stage 4, you're dead, says Donald Trump on Joe Biden. It's not clear that the presidential wall of fame will be constructed and unveiled. It's not clear when, correction there. It will be constructed or unveiled. But the administration has made it a priority to revamp the White House grounds the first year of the term. $200 million has been spent on a new White House ballroom and also new Rose Garden, also a new West Wing. President Trump was observing the West Wing and walking on the rooftop. Also new flagpoles, and so on. And so this is what Donald Trump's going to do to troll Joe Biden and have the final last laugh at the White House. The two of them will face off when Joe Biden gets an official portrait. We'll see. This is what Donald Trump has shared on social media before. He shared this meme before. Will it look like this? Again, unfortunately, we don't have the photo that he showed the reporter. It was just a written interview with a singular photograph of the interview going down. We don't have it, but this is what President Trump has shared on social media before. It's going to be up in about 2 weeks, says Donald Trump, so be prepared. Will President Trump talk about it today? I don't know. I hope so. You can see there. It's going up in about 2 weeks. I can't freaking wait for the meltdown here. You can see there like these little boxes. That's the little hall of fame, the wall of fame, as they say. Well, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a pretty fascinating series of events. Oh my, look at this. I forgot that JD shared this. So here's JD Vance. What is this? In March 16th, JD Vance sharing this. This is President Trump sharing this photo. And then JD Vance sharing it gets 30,000 reposts, 213,000 likes, 8,000 comments. Many of the comments are JD Vance memes. All right. So that's a major announcement that happened over the last couple of hours, and we'll see what happens. I mean, just a reminder that Donald Trump has moved the Obama and Bush portraits to a hidden stairwell, so nobody can even see the Obama portraits anymore. He replaced the Obama portrait with a fight, fight, fight portrait of himself, which is pretty awesome. President Trump relegates Obama Bush portraits to the White House stairwell where no one can see them. In the private section of the White House. And what has been replaced is right here. Some new artwork at the White House. There you go. This is what currently, I was able to see this in person at a White House event a couple months ago. And it was glorious. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. Portrait. It's great. Trump also showed the world leaders. The world leaders were standing there in the corridor. Do we have that clip? Pretty neat. Donald Trump had all the European world leaders, and he pointed right to this moment. And he's like, "That was a bad day." I know AALX. That's a Margot Martin video. He says that was a bad day. So Donald Trump has gone off on the Autopen before. Here's President Trump during the flagpole construction for Donald Trump's 100-foot flagpoles on White House grounds, talking about Joe Biden and his Autopen usage. Here we go.
I mean, so much of our effort goes to getting people out of the country that should have never been here in the first place. What he's done to this country, it's not him. He had no idea what was going on. Everybody knows that. It's other people. It's Lisa and this one and that, all these people, all this scum that was around the Oval, the Oval Office or around the beautiful Resolute desk telling this guy, here, do this, do that, and not even telling him. they just go over to the Autopen and sign whatever the hell they wanted to sign. Because say what you want about Biden, he wasn't for open borders. He wasn't for transgender for everybody. He wasn't for men playing in women's sports. But he has no idea what the hell, he has no idea. And they were very upset. They wanted Bernie Sanders. And after about a week of this guy, they said, wait a minute, we just hit gold. This guy has no clue. He'll do anything we tell him. And then they realized they don't even have to get permission. They just go up to the Autopen. That's a subversion. That's a takeover of our government. And you people ought to start looking at it. That's a takeover.
I love in DC, people who are like, we're currently being attacked because we said that DC is a crime-ridden, failed narco hellscape. I love how every single clip, not some, not a few, every clip in DC always has wailing sirens. Always. Because per capita, it is the single most dangerous capital city in the world. There are so many murders. There's so much death in DC. I witnessed some of it. So I just a little aside there. I love how there's always a wailing, shrieking, screaming siren in Washington, D.C. whenever President Trump is doing a press conference like that. James Comer is looking into the Autopen. Final thing on this Autopen. I think it'll be funny. I can't wait for the president to unveil this. I hope he does it live with us right now. I think that we're imminently ready to go into the Oval Office and watch President Trump with his announcement. No doubt Pete Hegseth will be there. All that we know is that is a massive Pentagon announcement. We'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Jamie Comer on the Autopen scandal.
With the 4 people that you, in fact, are going to have transcribed interviews with and the president's doctor, Kevin O'Connor, I would imagine there are a lot of other people you want to talk to, too, but let's start with these 5.
Yeah, well, obviously the physician, he's the one that continuously told America that Joe Biden was in tip-top physical condition. He was mentally sharp. He was physically sharp. We now know that to be 100% false. The 4 staffers aren't well-known staffers. These 4 staffers operated behind the scenes. But while we're starting with them, Sean, we believe these are the staffers that were responsible for using the Autopen. Someone got documents and manually placed them in the machine and pressed the power button to sign Joe Biden's signature. That was not Joe Biden. That was done by staffers. That would be done by any staffer. So we believe and have good reason to believe these are the 4 staffers that were responsible for that. We want to ask them, who gave you the authority to use Joe Biden's signature? And we'll go from there. Obviously, we believe that some of the names, like the chief of staff and perhaps the first lady, were involved in a lot of the decision making. If that's where the trail leads, then we'll bring them in as well. But we're going to get answers to all the questions that every American deserves answers to.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what will happen next? What will happen next?